are listening to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and cryptics... Cryptics? Nope.
Cryptics are cryptid as fuck.
Well, these words are hard. I should have eaten supper. No. Oh. You are listening to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck. Take 2. I'm Alanna.
Yeah. I'm Kelsey.
And I am not good at talking. I don't know how many days I used to work with the public that I'd say like once or twice a day, I can't talk today. I felt like my coworkers must get sick of hearing me say it.
I feel like because a lot of times I'm on the floor and I don't have, when I'm not on cash, you don't have to talk to people so much on the floor that...
Yeah,
it's a lot better when especially because our store is just so dry. I am just chugging water and...
Oh, god damn. And then when you're talking to people, oh yeah, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I haven't, how did you... They like start to talk and tell me what they need. I would like grab my water bottle because I have been helping out with the public on the travel counter again because they've been so desperate for people that I loaned myself out for a couple days a week because they wanted us. And they're like telling me what they need, like movie tickets or whatever. I'm like sucking down my water bottle. I'm like, okay.
When I'm on the floor, I don't have my water bottle with me. I keep it in our fitting room. So when I'm on the floor and they call me to cash, I just head right to cash. And then I could be at cash for like half an hour. And then by the time I do that, I'm like, I'm so thirsty. Like,
damn.
Because I don't have my water bottle with me.
Oh, yeah. All the talking.
Yeah.
It's like podcasting.
Yeah. I am drinking another grower's cider to get through my segment. Because I did not think I could do it without a drink in my head.
Oh my god. That's the second time you've said something about your segment being rough. Off air, there was once. Also, yeah, I thought I heard you crack something earlier.
Yeah.
Nice crack. I love it. I love it when you drink. Enabler over here. No.
I saw socks at the dollar store the other day, and it said nice pop, but it was in reference to popcorn because it had little bags of popcorn on it. And I was like, oh damn. God. It was like, nice pop.
Nice pop.
I was like, oh, that's cute.
Wine and crime reference for anyone that doesn't. Ugh. Ressa did say she laughed one time when on the pod here I said something like, I speak in podcasts now. That's terrible. That's just me. I know I'll annoy everyone. Last time when I was editing the last episode, I was like, I mentioned D&D like 3 times. Because I always just talk about whatever like reference whatever I've been doing lately.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you guys know I read Outlander, because I never shut up about that. But I am reading a different fantasy book that I got from this, there's like a book nook, which is, one of those free lending libraries in the big office at
yes, there is.
Office I'm hanging out at. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, free books.
Yeah, when I was there was some... All I remember is seeing the Twilight books there. That's, like, all I remember.
Oh, did you work at that office, too, for a time?
I was helping out there in insurance for... I think it was one Saturday a month, and then sometimes a shift or 2 during the week.
Okay.
I did it over a summer.
It's a far drive, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like 25 minutes from my place.
Oh, that's not too bad. It usually takes me 35.
Yeah. Well, you're like 25. You're like 20 minutes from my house. So.
I know.
Yeah.
Every time I seem to get a job at a different office at this company, I end up not working at the closest office or the closest branch. Like, we bought a house in the Northwest when I was working at the West office, and then it's like pandemic like within a year or two, and then I like moved to one that's completely on the south side.
Yeah.
What can you do? Well, welcome to episode 69.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. We're almost at 70.
Yeah, next week. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for all that have listened. All our 69 listeners.
No, we have a lot more listeners than that.
I know. I was just telling you that our biggest episode is just chugging along. Just chugging right along.
Yeah.
Still being our best performer. Who knows? You can't predict these things. Well, actually, Pat said that the Japanese true crime one might have been popular with people in Japan because he said they don't talk a lot about their true crime necessarily. Maybe it's not like on the news all the time like it is here. Just being sensationalized.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they do have, like, from what I remember, some pretty harsh kind of things. Same with, like, China and stuff.
Right,
It's,
like very conservative.
yeah, and, like, penalties
cultures.
are quite harsh, so they probably don't glorify it, I'm gonna say, as much as North America might.
We have some problems. There's a lot of problems with our news stations that are too big to get into here. They're just definitely not unbiased all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we have a
Yeah.
good episode for you this week, but first
It's gonna
Alanna
be
has
nice.
nice.
Episode 69,
Alanna's segment will be nice. I will withhold comment about mine.
I feel like we may have talked about not doing ones that were too crazy, but maybe you didn't stick to the assignment.
I'll do it in my intro. You have something to share first, and then we'll get to why I need to drink alcohol to get through this.
I know these. It's a subject that can go so dark. So, I could see that. I do have a fun fact though. We'll kick us off with that.
I can't wait.
So I do have more fun facts that came up a little later. Well, to pad out my episode a little bit, or my segment.
Yeah.
What? It's not one where I was able to go on for like 10 pages? Oh no. But yes, it's that I learned that Canada legalized oral sex in 1969. That's it. That's the whole fact. Or, like I said, I might have more in like a list of several facts later.
Just like illegal before then. Ugh. People are so lame.
I guess. It's like those arbitrary laws, though, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a few. So maybe we'll do the thing where you go first, because then mine will be slightly less. Like, nobody dies.
Somebody dies.
Oh, no. It
So,
can happen, though. These are the risks we take. Safe sex doesn't just mean condoms.
I'm just gonna say I wouldn't have picked my case based on the subject matter if what happened wasn't planned, discussed in detailed, and consensual. And I mean everything that happened, including the death. So...
Oh...
Yeah.
Okay, that gives me an idea where we're headed with this. I feel like I'm gonna be like, wow, the internet is a wonderful place these days.
Yeah.
Where you can probably fulfill some fetishes that maybe are just questionable morally.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, otherwise I
great.
wouldn't have done this case for this episode, but I don't know, it's something kinky that two people wanted to partake in, and it was consensual
Okay.
and stuff, and consent.
And it's not
was
Army
good.
Hammer. Army Hammer.
No.
Eating your toes. No, I think that's good.
It's somebody eating something. It's not Army Hammer.
Oh God. Oh God. No, it could have. But this could just have something for everyone then, because remember, some people just like the crazy stuff, and other people like the funny, lighter, fluffy stuff.
Yeah. So I'm like, we'll end that episode on a happier note than this. But I mean, people.
I like both.
We'll go back and forth because a lot of people, for this case, there's a lot of like gray area because it was consensual. The people did agree to what happened. They discussed it in detail, and like they both were into it. So
oh God, this sounds familiar. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we better just rip off the Band-Aid.
A lot of people have heard about this.
Is this gonna be as painful as the fucking horror movie I watched last night where somebody got like nail gunned to the wall for a little bit?
I don't know. I tried to keep some of the details out. I'm sure there's a lot more detailed things you can find than what I'm gonna cover. But...
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm gonna knuckle and buckle, as they say.
Yeah. I had heard about this case in a few different places, including, there was like, wasn't part of the BuzzFeed Unsolved true crime or anything, but BuzzFeed Unsolved has like a guy that does kind of true crime stuff now where he just shares like a 10-minute story. So he had covered this one, and then Bailey Sarian has also covered this one, the YouTuber that I like.
Right, in like a 10-minute segment or so?
A lot of it was like left out. They kind of just did like the brushstrokes of it.
Wow.
But Bailey Sarian's was like 25 minutes. So we'll see. This will probably be about half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah. There's obviously a shorter time frame when it's a solo person. Like when I watch the YouTuber who has a podcast now called Mr. Ball, and that Pat got me into.
Yeah.
And he's a single storyteller, so yeah, it doesn't take him as long to tell cases. But they don't always feel like they're leaving something out.
Yeah. So today I'm going to be talking, it kind of has two nicknames, and that is the Rottenberg Cannibal or the Master Butcher. Very fitting names.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't hold back on those names.
No. So this is a quite like famous case. A lot of people have probably heard it before. That's all right. I wanted to share it for this episode.
Yeah, a lot of people that listen to us aren't familiar with true crime. Like my brother listens, my mother, and they're not true crime pod listeners. I only started listening to true crime pods within the last couple of years, so I don't know half the cases that, like, say my sister knows.
This one, I don't know. A lot of people, like, maybe will want to wash their brain after this.
Oh, no. You're here. You're here to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something interesting to talk about, but
right. I feel like it is something that's going to bring up a lot of, important questions about consent and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, if it wasn't consensual, I definitely would not have covered it in a Kinky Crimes, but I feel like because it is consensual, it's like almost like the ultimate kinky thing, because it's like somebody like literally went out of their way to find somebody to basically kill them, because that's what they wanted.
What the fuck, though?
So I'm going to be talking about Armin Mavis, I think his last name is. I'll just be calling him Armin.
Army? Just kidding.
Armin Hammer, no. I love Armie Hammer, okay? I'm withholding judgment.
Oh, you were the one that wanted me to watch the movie he was in with, Timothy Chalamet, right?
I love that.
Call Me.
I haven't watched it.
It's good.
Yet.
It doesn't mean he's a bad actor. It just sounds like he might have questionable tastes.
Yeah.
And morals, possibly. Who knows?
I don't know. He's been open about bondage fetishes in the past, so I feel like this whole cannibal thing is, I don't know.
Oh, I know. There's like a fine line between what just dangerous fetishes and kinks or whatever. We're not here to talk about that today.
No.
All
Other than these two guys. So Armin appeared to be just like everyone else. His neighbors said that he often helped mow their lawn. He even a time or two repaired their car and invited people over for lavish dinner parties. Very Hannibal Lecter style.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
He's feeding you his best dishes.
As far as I can tell, he didn't really share what was going on with people. I mean, can't say they never did, but so at 42 years old, this computer expert and computer repairman was described as basically a mansion / farmhouse. It's 44 rooms, and it's in Rottenburg. Wow. Yeah, it's huge. It looks pretty nice, and it said it was pretty isolated. There's a picture of it on the drive. There's like 5 pictures I'll be sharing.
Okay. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, it's the second picture actually. So it has a lot of really big trees around it, so I assume it's a kind of rural, a little bit more isolated. So this is Rottenburg, Germany, so that's why he's called the Rottenburg Cannibal. Armin is...
Okay, Germany.
Mm-hmm. So he's not what he appeared. Obviously, we mentioned a few times. He's a cannibal.
What, you can't tell them just by looking at them?
I don't know. I watched an interview with 60 Minutes of him talking, and he's very much like sitting there and watching like Ed Kemper talk, where it's just very analytical, like detached from what happened, but you can tell they aren't quite feeling guilty about it.
I feel like that's one of the categories of sociopath or psychopath. I can't remember exactly which right now. Yeah. Okay, the house does have that
it's pretty
Bavarian look or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, with the whitewashed and then the brown trimmings and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Armin,
there's lots of trees. I like that.
Yeah. So it's like 44 rooms, this farmhouse mansion thing he's living in. Armin himself, he was born on December 1st, 1961, and his family comprised of his mom, his dad, and 2 half-brothers that he had from his dad's previous relationship.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So no full siblings?
No, just 2 half-brothers who are older than him. But I wouldn't say by much, because I didn't find it anywhere else, but from the Bailey Sarian video I rewatched earlier, it said that his parents had gotten married when his mom was 40 and his dad was 21. So for him to be 21 and to have 2 other kids other than Armin already, I wouldn't say they're very old.
Oh, they're the father's kids.
Yes.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they must not have been.
Yeah. The mom was described as being extremely controlling and pretty, like, verbally abusive towards Armin, and the husband, probably the other kids.
Well, that's what you wonder. Because I obviously don't have, for anyone that knows me, a problem with an age gap if you have a healthy relationship. Because, like, I feel like in my relationship we have an age gap, but there's not a horrible power imbalance or anything like that, you know? So if one person's just... You can get that in any relationship. I mean, every time you see on TV, isn't it always the woman who's, like, whipping the, you know, man into submission and like, order this, honey. Like that okay, we just watched that episode of The Sandman where they're all in a diner and he kind of makes them all go insane basically, but then this one woman who's like the CEO of her company, and you don't want to order that, do you, darling? The double decker,
I hate people like that.
Fucking burger. Yeah, you're just like, shut up, bitch. He doesn't want to get a salad. Yeah, totally.
So at age 8, Armin's father ended up basically abandoning the family. his siblings, his older half brothers, had actually left. I assume just moved out a few years earlier. So maybe when they were around 18 or so. Again, I have no idea because that would mean that like the dad was like 11. I don't understand how this. It was only mentioned in the Bailey Sarian video. I didn't find reference to the parents' ages anywhere else. So it kind of makes it a little confusing.
So we don't have a clear timeline necessarily.
No. But I do know when he's 8, like the dad leaves and that his half brothers had left a few years before that. And it's around this time that Armin becomes obsessed with kind of death and starts reading about taboos, and he starts to fantasize about killing and consuming people after he was somehow able to read a book about cannibalism.
Oh.
Yeah. At age 8.
In what year?
This would be like 1970? 1969?
Oh, wow. So he had
1969.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, obviously I had to check it out of the library or something.
That's why I'm like, I don't know how he got this book.
Yeah, he couldn't just Google it and then shittily try to scrub the search history.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at age 8, he's reading about cannibalism. He becomes obsessed with this idea, which we'll kind of talk about later, about he thought if he felt so abandoned basically by his father and his brothers that he thought the ultimate way to keep somebody with him that could never leave him was to consume them. So he basically wanted like to consume somebody so that at least that person wouldn't be able to leave him. Which is kind of sad. Like,
yeah, that sounds like severe abandonment issues.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's like a big underlying thing. He started focusing this desire to have somebody with him all the time through like consumption, and he focused this desire towards his like classmates in school, but never acted on it.
Okay.
At the age of 19, he joined the West German Army, and he was with them for 12 years. During this time, he started to question his sexuality while he was in the army, after basically asking people, I guess, if they thought he was gay, and people were like, well, yeah, and he's like, well, I don't know if I am, and they're like, you're gay.
Oh my god, like Andy Bernard in that episode of The Office where Michael spreads all the rumors. And he's
I
just
don't
like,
remember that.
Yeah, it's
Do they think he's gay?
Well, because Michael ends up finding out that Stanley's having an affair because one of the temps sees him out with his wife, but his wife's not there. She's on vacation. So then he's like starts spreading the rumor, like starts telling everybody that Stanley's having an affair, and then someone's like, you shouldn't do that. And then he like, oh no, I should spread all these other rumors so nobody knows which one's the rumor.
Yeah.
And then he spreads the rumor that Andy's gay, and then Andy's all like insecure, like, where did you hear that? And then, like, when at the end, Michael's like, no, all of those were fake except for one. They're like, well, which one? And he's like, yeah, which one? As if he just doesn't know if he's gay or not. And you're like, oh, Andy.
You see, I've watched too many TV shows where people have written characters figuring out they're gay by people telling them they're gay, or, like, a rumor saying they're gay, and they're, like, the last to know. So stupid. I hate it.
Yeah, that's a weird trope. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to go into letting other people tell you what your sexuality or orientation is. That just seems so dangerous.
So Armin's starting to question this, and after people are kind of talking to him about it, he's... Oh my god. 1 second. Gordo, like, activated a toy I thought had no batteries left.
That sounded like Fenrir shaking his collar for a minute. Yeah, it sounds like flap, 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 flap.
1 second. Poor guy. It's like his favorite
toy. That was
toy.
Really loud, yeah, for a toy.
It's a box, and it has some, like, triangle cutouts, and it has a wand with some feathers on it that basically, like, pokes out through the different triangles, and then it, like, goes back in, and then it'll come out random ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So, yeah, basically people are telling him he's gay. He starts realizing he's kind of had a lifelong problem connecting with women. He's tried it in the past, didn't really work. So he's like, "Okay, I'm gay." From what I found, it said that his like cannibalistic thoughts or thinking of consuming people had left him for this while, that he was in the army, probably because he had something he could kind of channel energy into and focus. He's trying to play with the toy that's now turned off. Yeah, well,
Oh my god.
he's gonna
Yeah,
be
but
super
no, but
loud.
probably.
Gordon, you're so funny. If you could see him right now,
I had
he's
so many bloopers for the last one too. It was good.
is so cute. Whatever. He can just do his thing in the background. He'll get tired eventually.
I know, it's not like he's doing the thing where it's clinking, like his ding, or yeah.
All right. So he's in the military or the army, and he, I guess, had problems with alcohol use because after the 12 years, at the age of 32, he basically got kicked out of the army for possibly due to alcohol use, I put, because it said he had begun drinking more and more. So
Okay, you would have to have some reason or another
nothing
that was
else.
affecting your performance.
Yeah, nothing else was listed from anything I read, so I assume it was probably alcohol related. And
Sorry if any of that picked up on the mic. Gordo's having a little play time. I never know, right, if it's gonna be caught or not, because sometimes I listen back and I'm like, oh, I just said there was a noise, and then you hear nothing. Anyway.
So after this, he moves back in with his mother to this house. So she was living in that house. It's like the family house. So he's living in this house with his mom. At this time, after leaving the army, he becomes a computer engineer. And
Oh, wow.
so he's really smart. You can tell, like, from the interview I watched. And he speaks, like, pretty good English and everything, too, because in the 60 Minutes interview I watched, he was speaking in English for half of it. So, just ignore it.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of the bloopers from Fuck My Work Life I listened to, where they were like, bloopers from season 3, and then half of it was them telling their cat to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Armin at this time starts to read some autobiographies about serial killers, which confused me because in the like 70s they didn't even really have the term serial killers, or it was just starting, so like why would there be books about serial killers?
Yeah, it may have gone by a different name, I suppose, on the book or
Yeah.
whatever, but they noticed patterns. Yeah, interesting.
So the internet starts to come about, and because he's a computer engineer, he's online a lot, and at this time they had kind of unregulated forums or chat rooms that people used a lot, and Armin discovered that there was a whole bunch of them that were dedicated to cannibalism, and he started to connect with some like-minded people online in these different forums.
Cannibal Chat.
Yeah.
23. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So around this time, he kind of said he was buying meat and stuff from like a butcher shop and shaping it or like carving it to look like human limbs, and then posting and posing it, like fake pictures being like, these are victims I've killed. And yeah, apparently in these chat rooms he started to kind of get like almost be like a celebrity. Like people were like, wow, like we're just talking about it, but he's out here doing it. So people really liked him.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like got a hunk of hamburger and he's like, I killed someone.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
It made me think of in Vegas when we went to the
Mm-hmm.
Area 51, and they had that weird meat
Yeah.
counter where they had a meat statue of like the famous statue of the thinking man, where he's all with his hand on his leg and hand on his chin. It's like, oh my god, what the fuck, bud?
Yeah. So we cut to 1999. Armin's mother ends up dying in her sleep. And she was actually, yeah. So then he's now alone in the large mansion. And because she was pretty controlling and everything, he decided now that she's gone and he's by himself in this huge house, you know what? He's gonna start directing a lot more energy into finding his first victim. And
Okay.
yeah, Armin wasn't like other cannibals or even killers. He was a gentleman and would not kill someone without their consent. So he ends up going in part of the big farmhouse or this mansion he's living in. He basically turns one of the rooms into a kill room, which I did find pictures of. It's not anything crazy. I mean, there's like a terribly shitty bed in a room that almost looks like it was involved in a fire at some point. Then a room with like a shit ton of computers. And then another one where it looks like he built a dog, like a metal dog cage pen kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, like a kennel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it just sounds.
it was supposed to be
methodical.
for a person. Some stuff said because he didn't have a dog, but
Yeah, I think that's the scariest part. Is just that they're premeditatively making these, you know, structures and secure places for their victims. Yeah, it's like, ugh.
yeah. So he turns this. Everybody refers to it as the slaughter room. We cut to March, or I guess like January to March of 2001. That's when all this is gonna happen. So Armin is posting ads online to a site called the Cannibal Cafe, which is like an old forum that people posted to that had a cannibalism fetish. And there was some other sites.
What a cute name. No.
Yeah, Cannibal Cafe. He posted in a few other sites as well, but that's the only one that's really mentioned by name. He posted in English and in German under a few different usernames. The most popular one he used was Frankie, which I read is actually like an imaginary brother he made up when he was younger. Yeah.
Yeah. Yuck.
So, one of the posts, they're terrible. I mean, I mentioned earlier his English was good. I feel like these posts are not a good representation of that. Because it's just terrible.
Okay.
There's a picture of it. It just says, I search a young boy between 18 and 25 years old. Have you a normal body? I butchering you and eat your horny flesh. Frankie. Which is just terrible.
My face right now.
Yeah.
Just big old frown. Just disgusted.
Yeah.
Oh. The broken English. I mean, is that
Yes.
just because it's translated? I eat you now.
I don't know, there's a picture of it, like, actually in, like, I believe a screenshot from the site. Because it has other links, there's, like, post follow-ups, there's, like, links to other things, other searches, like, yeah.
Damn. Human seeking human.
Yeah.
It's a wanted ad.
Basically.
Yeah. It's just a little darker than most of them.
Yeah.
At least he's being upfront with his.
Right?
I mean, I guess. It's
Consent.
like you said, he's
looking
trying
for
to be
consent.
consensual, which is hard to fault. But
Yeah. Let's just say he's also got standards. Armin weeds through a bunch of people that respond to his ads. By his estimates, over 200 people responded, saying they wanted him to eat them. And he weeds through these messages back and forth. He meets several men in hotel rooms where they role play the act, but none of them end up agreeing to go through with him actually killing them. So, and he doesn't force the issue, lets them leave voluntarily. And
Okay.
he actually had turned down multiple people due to lack of chemistry with them, as well as...
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, he
That was-
has to be attracted to you too.
That was the main reason presented in court for why Amber Heard wasn't being necessarily considered to keep reprising her role in Aquaman with Jason Momoa and everybody else. Like, it became a point of contention where their other lawyers were like, well, no, it's all what Johnny Depp and this trial has done to her reputation, which is why they didn't want her in Aquaman. And then other people were testifying like, no, it's because she had a lack of chemistry.
Yeah, I can see lack of
Momoa.
chemistry. The first movie is
Yeah.
not great.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason Momoa is great, but
How can you not have chemistry with him? Yeah.
yeah.
Oh boy, that's
Khal
a different
Drogo.
rabbit hole. With an amber turd in it that we don't want to step in.
Yeah, so he's turning down people, lack of chemistry. He also turned down a guy that he thought was too weird, even for him. This guy,
Oh no!
yeah.
How rude!
This guy, Armin says, wanted to be nailed down and then beaten to death, which Armin considered just too weird for him, so he didn't want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that. Apparently he has his limits, I guess.
Well, his thing is he wants to eat somebody, and in the interview, he said, like, the means to the end of, like, him eating somebody is they have to be dead, but he didn't want to kill somebody. So that was, like, the conundrum he was in, is that these people wanted, like, a lot of them wanted violent deaths, but he didn't want to kill them, but he just wanted to eat them, but they wanted to die really violently, which he didn't want to do. You know? So,
I guess.
yeah.
I can't say I
weird.
do know what it feels like, but it's weird because you would think one would go with the other.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone's gonna get eaten, it's probably not because they just died a peaceful death in their beds.
Yeah.
This is so bizarre and hard to like comprehend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A few of the sources mentioned around this time, while he's still looking for a victim, he ended up like stealing or getting somehow a couple mannequins, like store mannequins, that he painted to look like dead bodies, and he kept these for some time and posted photos of them to the website as well. I think he's just trying to use it as like bait to get somebody.
Damn. I know that is also some sort of fetish, like to have a partner that appears to be unconscious or sleeping or dead, which is also something that's hard to wrap your mind around if you don't have that fetish. You're like, oh,
There was
okay.
a movie that had it.
Really?
The killing
Probably
of a
because someone used it for gross purposes.
Yeah, it was weird. It was the killing of a sacred deer.
Oh, I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, and the father had it, and the father was a doctor, which made it really weird. Because you're like, oh, you keep people from dying, and then you want your wife... Like, literally, he couldn't have sex with his wife any other way. She, like, had to pretend she was dead.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was, like, real
That would not
weird.
be fun for the other person if they didn't share that particular kink, probably. But we
Yeah.
all do things for our spouse that we don't necessarily like. It just depends where you're willing to go, I suppose.
Yeah. So this enters, we're gonna get to the victim now. Or if you can really call him a victim, I don't know.
Oh my god. I'm still getting
yeah.
over that nobody killed any deers in that movie. Okay. Anyway.
No.
Weird.
This is Burned Jurgen Armando Brandes. I'm gonna be calling him Brandes.
Whoa.
Yeah. And he is 43, an engineer from Berlin that was recently single, I think for a very shitty reason. His former girlfriend, Bettina L., after his death, told like German TV that the two had had a healthy sex life for their relationship, but that she had broken up with him after finding out that he also liked men. Didn't mean that he wanted to do anything about it. She just seems like shit. And I was like,
Yeah, that's definitely problematic.
Yeah.
I mean, he also maybe, I guess he could have maybe told her. Maybe she was also upset that she didn't know that. But who's to say? Like, yeah, that just does seem like something silly to kind of break up over that you couldn't get past. Like,
right. So Armin actually, in a lot of the sources I read, it said that Brandes was responding to an ad that Armin had posted. And in the 60 Minutes interview I watched with Armin, he said that he responded to Brandes' posts. He had not received a thing from Brandes. That he had responded to Brandes' ad on the site, and this is what Armin said it was. The heading was dinner or your dinner. He said he couldn't remember what it was. And he said the subject body of it was something like, I'm offering you the chance to eat me alive. Who really wants it and needs a genuine victim? So he says that's what his message was that he responded to. And
okay, the killer is saying that's what the victim said.
Yeah.
Who wants to eat me alive? Okay.
Basically.
Wow.
They began messaging over the next several weeks. So he said that he responded to this ad in January and they meet in March. So it's like months that they're messaging back and forth. And Brandes further reveals they said like hundreds of messages and emails that were put into evidence for the trial. Like they talked about everything that was going to go down. Brandes reveals that this is like where it gets bad. Jump ahead if you don't want to know the details of this.
This is a crazy, fascinating case, though. When it comes to motive.
This one? Have you heard this one before? I feel like
it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. Like all the details sound kind of new. You know.
Yeah. So apparently, Brandes had a thing about pain. He wanted to be conscious, and most things said that he had a fantasy about having his penis either bitten off or cut off while he was alive.
Okay, that sounds disgustingly familiar.
Yeah, that's the one that sticks out into people's mind about this case.
Well, there's some details you just can't forget.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Why?
I don't.
I mean, there's no explanation.
Yeah, so they talked about that. They talked about the fact that Brandes, wanted to be able to eat part of, I guess, his penis. And then Armin was like, okay, we'll do that, and then I'll cook it, and then we can eat it together before I kill you. At some point.
So, Brandes wanted to eat part of his own penis?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then at some point, Brandes said something about wanting his skull either to be used as an ashtray or for it to be buried outside in the garden. I think it was buried outside in the garden because Armin says at the trial that's what he did because that's what Brandes wanted.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't even begin to want to know what the psychology is on that. It just seems like there's got to be something to it.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, apparently Brandes also agreed. One of the messages that went back and forth between the two from Armin was something about, after you're dead, I'll take you out and expertly carve you up, except for a pair of knees and some fleshy trash. I think this was translated. That was meaning skin, cartilage, and tendons. There won't be much of you left. I'll dry out the knees. I'll dry out the knees and grind them up soon after. You won't be the last,
What?
hopefully. I've already considered catching a young person from the street, which doesn't fit his MO, I'll say.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why do you need to grind up the knees?
Yeah, that part confuses me greatly.
Like, I know you got to get rid of a body, because you obviously
Yeah.
know that this isn't going to be seen as completely legal. Like,
Yeah. We'll get to it.
oh
Let's just
my
say the
God.
trial's interesting on this one.
Yeah, I
They
bet.
continue to send each other messages online, as I said, for like the 2.5 months. And Armin agreed to all of the terms that Brandes requested, as he kind of said he just didn't want to go against the volunteers' wishes. Like, they're willing to die and everything, so he basically said the least he can do is give them the death that they wanted, if he was comfortable with it as well. So,
That makes it sound like a mercy.
yeah. Which
Which,
is brought up in trial.
yeah. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's like saying, I don't know. You can't just say, I had the right to kill this person or whatever. Like, it's totally different than, say, like euthanasia, where
Yeah.
somebody is asking because they're in pain or whatever. You're like, I'm pretty sure this is part of some sort of mental issue, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
So the day the death takes place, in the evening of March 9th, lots of sources say it was only 3 days after the first messages the men exchanged, but from the interview with Armin, he said they first started talking months earlier in January.
I feel like that would make more sense.
Yeah. So Brandes had taken the day off of work. He had sold all of his personal belongings, including his sports car he had, and he had purchased a one-way ticket to the castle, like train station or wherever Armin was supposed to be picking up from, and he had also erased the hard drive on his computer. And Armin was waiting to pick him up, and the pair drove back to Armin's fancy mansion-y farmhouse.
Right. Still doesn't look big enough to have 44 rooms just to look at it.
Yeah. They stopped on the way to go to a pharmacy to pick up sleeping pills, because even though Brandes at the beginning had said he wanted to feel the pain, and there's mention of it later, that at some point he had said he would only go through with it if he had sleeping pills. So they went and stopped off at a pharmacy.
Okay.
Yeah. Once Brandes got to Armin's house, Armin says that Brandes basically walked right into the living room and, like, took off all his clothes and, like, stood there so that Armin said it so he could admire his body. Whatever. And then they had sex. Because why not?
I mean, okay. Little pleasure, little pain. Yep. Okay.
So Brandes then consumed the 20 sleeping pills along with half a bottle of
Oh my
schnapps.
god.
Yeah, it's a lot of sleeping pills.
Wow.
He consumed it. Most things say was schnapps. Some things say cough syrup. I have a feeling it was probably schnapps, because cough syrup would be sucky. You don't want to, like, take 20 sleeping pills in a bottle of Buckley's. That's shitty.
Yeah, unless it's like they had the flaming moes on The Simpsons where it was like cough syrup and some kind of liquor, and then he like lit it on fire, and it was like a secret
Shizzurp.
recipe. It was basically like scissor. Yeah.
Yeah, however they fucking say that shit.
I don't know.
So, like, Justin Bieber used to drink. Ugh.
Oh, really?
I hate that I
Okay.
know that. I hate Justin Bieber. Anyway.
What? Not all Canadians love him? No, guys, not necessarily.
My brother likes him. My brother likes him more than I do.
He's got a few okay songs, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So, according to police, they say that the cough syrup or the schnapps and sleeping pills would have had a big effect on Brandes and would have caused extreme tiredness as well as breathing problems. Brandes initially insisted that Armin, just like their agreed upon things, tried to bite his penis off. Apparently this did not work, and ultimately Armis ended up using a kitchen knife to cut it off.
Armin, oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have sharp teeth like that.
Yeah, they said it was too, like, gristly. The texture of penis gets mentioned way too much in this case.
Oh my god.
So,
But, like, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
What the hell could you bite off? Don't even. Nope. I don't want to hear about nipples and stuff. Never mind. That brought up way too many true crime cases, even, like, some I heard today, so I'm just gonna... No!
So according to Armin, Brenda screamed for about 30 seconds afterwards. And then, in his words, he appeared kind of disappointed when the pain apparently started fading. Yeah. At this point, he's just suffering blood loss, and then he's taken too many sleeping pills and drunk and a whole bunch of schnapps. So he's pretty out of it.
You gotta wonder if they just have mental issues enough where they just want to feel something. You're like,
yeah.
What the hell?
It can. There's people that are, like, born without pain receptors or whatever, and they accidentally hurt themselves. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think I talked about that on, like, the Strange Bodies episode or something. Medical Mysteries, something like that.
Probably. I read a novel where the main character had that, and that's when I realized it would be difficult because you're not invincible. You just have to be extra careful.
Yeah, like, they don't realize if they've, like, hurt themselves or that certain things can hurt themselves.
Oh, yeah, you could have a broken bone and you wouldn't realize it.
Yeah. So, apparently Brandes tried to eat some of his own penis that had not been cooked, but he couldn't, apparently, because it was too tough, he said, or as he put it, chewy. And Armin then
He's also had a bunch of sleeping pills.
Yeah.
Doesn't he want to die? Does he want to choke to death on his own genitalia? Like, what a fucking way to go!
I don't think so. Armin then, like, takes the penis and, like, cuts it up, fries it in a pan, with some seasonings I won't get into, because I'm not giving, this isn't, like,
tips.
A cooking show.
Did Hannibal Lecter give him some tips?
Yeah.
Fava beans. I'm sorry. I have to laugh, because otherwise,
That's, now you know why I'm like...
cry.
I need to drink to get through this. It's too much.
Yeah. You won't get not known as the one with the dark cases. It's like if anyone that listens to Wine and Crime, they always are not surprised when Kenyon has a dark case or a dark case from Russia. They're like, oh, what a surprise. Yeah. But this one's freaking fascinating. I don't know.
Right? That's how I feel about it, because it is consensual. Right? Like, if this was, like, just a victim he had done this to, it'd be real shitty. But the fact that everything other than, like, him eating the person afterwards is how this person wanted it to go.
Right. So if everybody wants to say that consent is key and it's the be-all and end-all answer to everything, then these kind of things make you question that. It's like, oh, okay.
Because then these things...
the only thing that matters, or like, is there other questions we need to look at? Yeah.
So apparently after they tried to cook his penis, it was too burnt to be consumed, which apparently disappointed them both. So
I don't like it a little charred.
No. Well, I mean, if it's chewy before, if you cook it in a frying pan, it's probably not going to get any better.
A charred cock. Ugh.
So some sources say that he then, like, chopped it up into smaller chunks and fed it to his dog. I don't really know about that.
What?
At this point, Brandes had lost a whole bunch of blood, and he was kind of starting to fade in and out of consciousness. So Armin put him in the bathtub in the bathroom and didn't fill it with water or anything, just let him in there so he was kind of propped up so that he could basically bleed out in the bathtub. I don't know whether he went into another room or not, but there is the detail that he decided to read a Star Trek novel. And
No.
he returned every about 15 minutes or so to check on Brandes. Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that's part of it. He's just like, well, as soon as if we try eating me, if that's not good, then just bye.
Yeah.
Like, okay. No dessert, no nothing else for your last meal. He's just... And, like, he's got so many sleeping pills and losing so much blood. What if he did want to withdraw consent? He's not even in the right mind to do so.
That's fair. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So hours later, Brandes was still alive, and according to Armin, he said, quote, "I did want to eat him, but I did not want to kill him." So finally, after like hours...
Don't they know about fucking the Bobbit guy? Like, he got his penis cut off and he survived. Did they think that was just gonna...
Right?
Hope that was enough? Ugh.
I mean, yeah. So after a lot of, they said, hesitation and prayer, according to Armin, he basically, like, did decide eventually that he was going to directly kill Brandes by cutting his throat with a very large knife in the bathtub. So now Brandes is dead. He takes his body and takes it out of the bathroom, I assume to the slaughter room, and hangs his body on a meat hook suspended from the ceiling. And...
Oh, yeah, you're so considerate of the dead, of the victim.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he starts dismembering him, and then he ends up storing, like, all the meat that he's going to be eating and body parts and stuff in kind of like a deep freezer. Armin says of his first meal that he decorated the table with nice candles, took out his best dinner service, and fried a piece of rump steak, a piece from his back, made what I call princess potatoes and sprouts. After I prepared my meal, I ate it. So
Princess potatoes?
I don't know what those are. Maybe little
also,
potatoes?
yeah, now it's all fancy. Now that Buddy's dead. Oh, what? You couldn't have him sitting up at the table eating by candlelight when you're eating him?
Well, like, some sources, one source did say that they had, like, a full meal before they went through with this, and that they had sat around talking for, like, hours. But that was only one source, and I didn't find anywhere where he talked about that. So.
Crazy. It's just so hard to wrap your mind around.
Yeah. Armin says that he kept his promise to Brandes and did bury his skull and any other inedible body parts out in the garden. And over the next roughly 20 months, Armin ended up defrosting and consuming pieces of Brandes' body, and he consumed approximately 20 kilograms or 44 pounds of human flesh. And he said, with every bite, my memory of him grew stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your memory of that one night.
Yeah. We cut to, like, this 20 months later, and there's an Austrian student, who, I don't know whether intentionally or not, most things say, he stumbled into the cannibalism chat forum sites, and I was like, what a thing to stumble into.
Yeah, I don't think that I ever found that when I was literally using the, I don't know, website, app, algorithm thing, whatever you want to call it, before there was all the social medias. It was called Stumble Upon, and it would take you to a random website, but it didn't take you to that kind of fucking website. Yeah. Right? It would just be like something funny, or, yeah.
Yeah. I used those too when I was in middle school. They were kind of fun.
Yeah, I like to Stumble Upon.
Yeah, it'd be like, here's a web page where when you click anywhere on the screen, the web page changes color. And it was like, oh, cool. It wouldn't be like, here's a cannibalism chat room.
The early days of the innocent internet, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of shit on there, too, but then there was just, like, equally pure stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so this Austrian student ends up alerting German authorities about Armin after he stumbles on, like, some of his posts in the chat rooms, because Armin's posting about killing somebody, and he's seeing, like, pictures and stuff from the killing, and what he assumes is the killing. Okay. So Armin is arrested in December of 2002, and when they first entered his house, they found a false bottom in his freezer, like a big deep freeze, and a whole bunch of meat in there. And Armin, originally, when he was questioned about it, told them that it was wild boar meat. And
long pig.
Yeah. They eventually basically asked him, "Are you sure about that? This doesn't look like wild boar meat." And he's like, "Nah, it's person." Yeah, he didn't lie for very long.
Yeah.
They also found footage, which we'll talk about later, and some pictures of the killing. By this point, Armin had actually met with 5 other men who had responded to other ads he had posted, and he had met in person with them about, like, his killing and eating them, but he had not actually gone through with killing anyone else.
Right, so this was the only one.
Yeah. After he was in custody, Armin was diagnosed with schizoid personality. Is that, like, a branch off of, like, schizophrenia?
Must be.
I'm not sure.
Something.
I should have Googled it. But he was still deemed fit to stand trial for the murder. Charging Armin was difficult, as prosecutors soon discovered that cannibalism was not illegal in Germany.
No.
Wah, wah. Yeah. And instead, Armin was charged with murder for sexual pleasure and with disturbing the peace of the dead. He told the court...
Nothing.
Yeah. He told the court on his first day of trial for the murder, "I always had the fantasy, and in the end I fulfilled it." Another difficult thing for the prosecution was this videotape I mentioned a minute ago. It was shot by Armin over the course of 4 hours, and it was basically the entire evening, which really throws in a wrench in the prosecution's thing. In this video, Brandes can be seen and heard asking Armin, like, directly to bite his penis off, telling him, like, do it now, kind of thing. It also videotaped them attempting to eat it, before and after it was cooked, and then continuing through recording Brandes in the bathtub bleeding out, as well as the recording of him being, like, his throat being slit, and then the dismembering. It was all on tape.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
God.
So afterward, the blood loss, according to the police who unfortunately had to watch this 4-hour-long tape, they said that it likely would have resulted in Brandes being unable to eat any of his penis. I also, as you kind of talked about, at what point would he have stopped being able to give, I'd say, like, enthusiastic consent to what was happening?
Yeah. If he ever was, considering his mental state might not have been 100% healthy.
Exactly. Yeah. So at the trial, part of the video was shown, like 15 minutes of it. I assume nothing too bad. Maybe just the consent parts of him talking. I'm not sure.
Oh my God. Can you have time to watch that? Yeah.
Yeah. It was shown to the jury. From multiple sources I read, supposedly there are 4 screenshots of the video that can be found online. But the credibility of these screenshots have never been proven. When I Googled his name, when I looked up pictures of the house, I found pictures of what are possibly the ones they're talking about by accident on Google Images. And based on the 60 Minutes interview of what he said, like, the steps he took to, like, just briefly dismember him, the pictures fit with that, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
The defense team believes that Armin was at worst guilty of killing on demand, which we kind of talked about, that Brandes had basically sought possibly somebody out just to kill him, and then this was just a very elaborate way to do that. And that charge, killing on demand, was punishable by just 5 years in prison. The prosecutors, in turn, revealed that Brandes was suffering from severe psychiatric disorder, and had a strong desire for self-destruction at the time of his death, and that this mental state would not have been a proper place to give any sort of consent regarding his life. No. But they didn't directly say like what this psychiatric disorder could have been. It's not talked about. In his pretrial interview, Armin says after eating Brandes, he felt much better and more stable. He said that Brandes spoke better English than he did, and since eating him, his English had improved. What
the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. Just some bullshit. In January of 2004, Armin was convicted of manslaughter, and the judges gave him 8.5 years, saying that it was not technically a murder, but the case of what they called two psychologically sick people who found each other. Which, I mean, that's kind of fair. But
I mean, not a sensitive way to say it, but yeah.
2 years later, in May of 2006, there was a retrial, and Armin was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison, as prosecutors focused more on, like, the sexual aspect of the killing instead of focusing on Armin only killing Brandes because Brandes has asked him to. It was more that, like, Armin had something to gain out of it, too.
Well, that's definitely not exactly the case here, where usually it's like, only the killer had the idea.
Yeah, right?
Man.
So during sessions with police experts, Armin had explained that his desire for cannibalism related to the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel, and he had developed this, like, interest had developed during his adolescent years. We kind of talked about that. Armin told the court that he had felt lonely and neglected as a child after his father had walked out on the family, and he had fantasized about having a young blonde younger brother who that he could keep forever by consuming him.
Ugh. Yeah. Younger blonde brother. Okay, Hitler.
So now, Armin is described as friendly, outgoing, polite, a prisoner who reads and helps other prisoners with the typewriter. He goes to church services and works in the laundry. When speaking to a German newspaper, he admitted that cannibalizing Brandes and he admitted to cannibalizing Brandes and expressed regret in his actions. He added he wants to write a biography with the aim of deterring anyone from wanting to follow in his footsteps. There's a bunch of websites dedicated to Armin, and they started appearing after his 2002 arrest, with people advertising for willing victims. His response to this was that they should go in for treatment so that they don't escalate like it did with me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In 2007, the UK's Daily Mail reported that he has since become the head of the Prison Green Party. This is real shitty. And this is the Prison Green Party is a group of murderers and pedophiles who talk about how to make the world a better place.
Do they now?
Yeah, right? Sounds like the shittiest group ever.
The Grim Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Except it's called the Green Party. Like the fucking environmentalists.
Yeah, that's what the Green Party is here in Canada. They want, they want environmental rights looked after.
They're not murderers and pedophiles. The Mail also noted that Armin has since become a vegetarian. And, he himself believes that there are approximately 800 active cannibals in Germany alone. Because I don't know whether or not it's still not illegal. I didn't look into that.
Okay.
According to some sources, Armin has recently been permitted to wander the streets in disguise as part of his rehabilitation. I found that in like 2 sources out of all of mine, so I don't know.
Wander the streets in disguise.
Yeah, like kind of like semi-probation, I guess.
Okay, so maybe he's on like day release?
Maybe.
But like, why do they have to put that he's in disguise? That's just weird. I don't get it.
He's kind of a celebrity. People really like him. It's like weird. The case, as you expect, has been used as an inspiration for many type of like medias, including songs, bands. A couple I want to mention, obviously, like Hannibal, the TV show. The Mason Verger is kind of like a little bit with this. There's like a line or something thrown in about like, yeah, do it like they do in Germany or something.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Nine-Nine also has in later seasons when Jake was sent to the prison and they had that guy that was the cannibal. There's also like a throwaway line about like finding somebody that's willing or something. And then the one show I had watched, I think we talked about it here recently, was the IT Crowd. They actually do a whole episode that's literally this. Moss answers an online ad for something that he thinks is cooking class, and he shows up to a guy's apartment and thinks he's gonna get cooking lessons, but the guy wants to eat him, and he like, yeah, it's all a misunderstanding, and the guy ends up apologizing, being like, my English is no good, like, kind of thing, and Moss is like, you better word your ad better, or something, and then they just, like, leave.
Oh,
but
my
yeah.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that turned out well. At least.
But yeah. Yeah, so that's the case I chose. I mean...
Jesus.
It's about as kinky as you can get. Just, like, crazy.
Exactly.
Just, like, it's... I don't know. Cannibalism is, like, the weirdest thing, and then... I don't know.
I know, we've never done an episode on cannibalism.
And not specifically where we both did cannibalism, no.
No.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, did I misunderstand the assignment? No, I'm just here to lift us up after with some weird sex toy related crimes.
Yeah, I did not confirm that I was doing this case until you told me what kind of stuff you were covering, and I was like, well, that'll liven the episode up. I'll finish my notes. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was horrible. Thanks. I hate it.
We'll be right back.
Yes.
We survived my segment, or if you skipped it, welcome to the episode.
Hi, are you back? We're back. Or we may or may not have just gone on a tangent about Ben Schwartz versus Jason Schwartzman. I remember last time I was like, we may or may not just have a movie tangent, and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't cut it because it was pretty cute. I don't know. You were talking about a movie you liked that I was like, I guess I should watch that. Probably Annihilation.
What even?
I
was like, what even was it?
I think Annihilation, but I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
Last night we watched one called No Exit, and it was pretty good. I didn't know what it was about. He put it on. I said, what is this? This is like a horror. Pat was like, I think it's more like a mystery. And I was like, question mark face type of thing.
Yeah.
But then it got going, and it was like, yeah, it was pretty good, like intense. I would say thriller, if not horror. It definitely had some body horror. I told you somebody got nailed at one point.
Oh, was that the one that got
Literally.
nailed?
Yeah, literally, like, through the hand. Spoiler,
Ew.
It was gross. I was like, I don't want to watch this right now. It just wasn't...
Yeah.
My stomach wasn't in the mood for it.
Earlier today, I
Anyway.
watched Day Shift, where Snoop Dogg and Jamie Foxx are fucking vampire hunters, and it was great. I didn't know I needed Snoop Dogg being a vampire hunter,
Oh.
like, in my life, but I do. It was great. And
I
then
love Snoop Dogg.
it was so funny.
Nice. Jamie Foxx, yeah, he's good too.
And then
Okay.
and then right after that, I watched the Matrix Resurrections finally. It was good.
Oh yeah, that's the fourth one, right?
Yeah, and I was just like, ooh, the whole Sense8 cast reunion. Every time one of them was on the screen, I was like, yes.
Yeah, I think I heard other people didn't like it, but of course, you always hear that about different movies, and I was like, yeah, I remember thinking it was okay. I mean, like,
Yeah.
no,
I
like,
watched...
the first ones were, like, my favorite movies that I'd seen
Yeah.
10,000 times, but I like them. I thought it was fine and good.
I watched the first ones, I feel like, over the span of, like, 2 days, like, a year and a half ago. And I feel like I was really
Yeah.
tired both days, and I kept drifting in and out of sleep. So I feel like I need to give them a proper watch, and then I need to rewatch the fourth one. Cause
Oh, yeah. That can
I
happen with
was-
ones that are in pop culture, don't you know? Like, don't
Yeah.
you feel like, I mean...
I was
Because
like,
you're like, oh, I've seen this in
yeah.
clips.
I was like 20 minutes into the movie, and then I was like Googling the synopsis of the first 3, being like, I don't even understand what's going on right now. I mean, it looks cool, but like, I didn't understand anything that they were talking about. And then I was like, why are the machines after them again? Why do they need the people? And then I was like,
Yeah, maybe it's the one where you have to watch it with others, with people.
yeah,
Like
I
you were
need
saying, you're
to.
watching Tenet, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to rewatch that because I didn't really understand it either because there was so much time travel, wibbly
Yeah.
wobbly, but not more than like say a show like The Fringe. I mean, it's that kind of junk where they're like,
Yeah.
I just met my own daughter or whatever, and you're like, okay, this is pretty crazy. It like breaks your brain, and you have to watch it a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Tenet was alright. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I was very confused when they were trying to explain everything. I was like, okay, so if every time, like, the regular world is going forwards, and then if you're going backwards, you've been, like, inverted, but, so those people always look like they're going backwards, but I was like, but then how can something that's, like, how can the invert at the end it was like, how can the inverted people be an hour ahead of you if like
oh, see, yeah,
it
I
hasn't
don't remember
happened yet?
Trying to think it through that
I was
hard
like,
because it's like,
I
nope.
can't do it. And then at the same time that's happening, they're just like, yeah, this was at one point they're like, this is the first part, and then they went like backwards really far, and then they're like, this is 4 days ago, and I was like, but one of you's in 4 days ago, and one of you's in like 7 days ago, and one of you's at the start of the movie, and I was like, I don't understand. How are you talking by phone? Like,
It's the Spider-Verse, yeah.
I was like, I can't deal with this. You're talking on the phone, but like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I couldn't handle it.
Time travel.
I was also watching it on
hard
a
to
split
do.
screen, so I was like on Facebook at the same time, so that probably didn't help. That's
I
how
remember
watch.
watching it with Pat and still like asking questions and
Yeah.
trying to understand. So
I mean,
think it's
if I
fair.
have to have like a degree in like fucking quantum physics to like understand a movie, I don't want to watch it. Thank you. Like
yeah, it's kind of, I guess you'd put it with like the
Interstellar.
Matthew McConaughey space one.
Yeah, Interstellar.
Yes, I was literally like, Inception? What is the other I movie? Okay, yes.
Inception's the other Christopher Nolan movie.
Crazy one. Yeah. We have one of those weird movie cells from Interstellar.
Oh, yeah?
Collectible. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Anywho's it. Oh dear. Okay, mine's not long for me this time. Super,
Which is
so
good,
that's-
because mine went
Yeah.
longer than I wanted it to.
I know it's almost 10 o'clock. When did we start? Oh, we don't know.
Just
Okay.
before 8.
No, mine's just a few shortish ones. A handful of sex toy steals, sex toy thefts and other sort of adjacent crimes, petty type crimes that I thought were kind of funny, or some were already compiled. I'll
okay.
give a shout out if there was, like a list I used. Just like last time with the forest one, where I realized, my main list where I got the idea to like look into the other ones a little bit, I was like, it wasn't a very official cryptid site. It was like an outdoor camping gear site or something.
I mean, it happens.
Uncle Sam's Gear.
Sometimes I'm reading like, oh fuck, it's like a travel website, and it's like talking about what to do in the area, and I'm like using it as a source for like a paranormal thing, like Ghost Hunt or something.
I love that. I love
it's
it
like
when
TripAdvisor.
It's part of their culture. Yeah.
Fucking TripAdvisor reviews is my source. Like,
but yeah, it is part of some cultures, though. I mean, it's like I was listening to a podcast today where their podcast is called as Spooky Tales that they were promoting, and it's because they're Latina, and they're like, she was like, how did you get into podcasting this, about those tales? Is there anything? And they're like, well, because like we're Latina kind of, but then they were like, no, but it's really like part of the culture where you'll get together and tell each other stories of like, did you hear about the time I saw this? Yeah. Okay. So, speaking of ones from people's homeland, this first one happens to be Canadian.
oh.
Yeah. I hadn't heard of it, so I called it the Sexy Kitten Boutique Burglary. Because a resident of Courtenay, British Columbia, it's not too far from where Pat is from, my partner, so there you go. So this person broke into the Sexy Kitten sex shop in January of 2017.
Okay.
I don't know the exact date because I didn't know if it was your
Oh,
birthday. Well. No, it wasn't, because it said something like the prior Wednesday, and the article was from like January 17th.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Last Thursday, and there's like no date given. You're like, cool.
I am reading this in the future. Yeah. He was caught on surveillance footage using a blunt implement, possibly a hammer, to break into the store before taking off with a, quote, foot-long, 30 centimeters for us metric folks, rubber sex toy.
Oh, I was just gonna say, please be a dildo.
Yes.
And not like 30 centimeters of rope.
No.
Love it.
I just refrained from always using the word dildo. Although I proudly wear my shirt that I got. My mom and my sister went to Newfoundland and they visited the city dildo, and then I have a shirt now that says Dildo Brewing Company. Oh, yeah. All right. The man also grabbed a pair of panties on his way out, but promptly dropped them in front of a nearby Money Mart.
Why? Ugh, take your underwear with you.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that part was accidental or not.
Probably.
It seemed like he might have just,
Been like, damn it, these aren't my size, and he just throws them over his shoulder.
Yeah, he didn't get exactly what he wanted, as you'll see. Sorry.
Was the sex toy too big? It's too big for him.
Probably.
Yeah, you gotta start smaller.
Yeah. So, as it happened, the store's owner, Janelle, I'm not sure. It's de Ballenhard, or if it's maybe French, maybe it's de Ballenhard. No, I don't know.
Sorry, that was the wrong time for me to have a mouthful of water. For you to say de Ballenhard.
It's like so.
I almost did
that's her last name.
I almost did a spit take on my laptop. Oh, Jesus.
That's like when Pat told me he listened to a guy named Mr. Ball, and I was like, really? But he's like, no, he's really good. I was like, okay. And now I'm like, okay, I like Mr. Ballin.
But is he
Yeah.
Mr. de Ballin hard?
Yes, Miss Janelle de Ballin Hard. But she's really cool. You'll like her. She happened to recognize the man immediately as a customer who'd been in the store before. In fact, the man had been in just recently eyeing a particular plaything. He had even measured it.
On what, his forearm?
Called it. No, I hope just a ruler. I don't know. They noticed he measured it. Maybe he has a pocket tape measure. Like those tool belts. You're just like...
Oh,
right,
customers come into my store with those, and you're like, why are you, like, ugh. Just, like, measuring everything in the store.
Yeah, like on Parks and Rec when Nick Offerman's dude just says, I know more than you do to the
Yes! I feel like I want to do that.
Yeah.
Some places.
Ron Swanson, that's it. It's like, why can't I think of it? Okay. Yeah, he had been eyeing that particular piece, measured it, then left and said he would be back later. But that afternoon, someone bought the item in question.
Oh no.
So the toy the man made off with was actually much larger than the one he'd had his eye on. And his tape measure, I guess. So you're right, it was too big. I was like, damn. And then Janelle put up a rather sarcastic sort of missing dildo sign.
Love it.
Yeah, with a reward for an untouched return of said item.
Ugh. No. I'm pretty sure
Just as a joke, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you aren't allowed to return anything.
Right. However, it would be the owner herself who caught the guy. She told
The next time he came back in the store, pretended nothing happened.
I mean, they're in Courtenay, British Columbia. It's not a big place. So This is not that surprising when she, quote, went to get coffee in a local coffee shop downtown and he happened to walk by me. So I got in my car and I followed him until the cops came.
Screaming, give me back my dildo!
He was arrested and released on condition of appearing in court. So the whole thing, laugh out loud, thing has been actually great for drumming up business. Apparently tons of people have came in to ask about the incident and have a laugh.
I mean, it's pretty great. I love it.
Yeah, I like it. But also, what? Just pay for it. If you're gonna steal it, why would you measure it?
Yeah.
Alright, the next one. The next one is an armed or dicked robbery? No. A man named Aaron Stein was arrested for robbing a bank by using a bomb threat. He walked into the PNC Bank branch in Crafton, Pennsylvania. He had a mask on, said he had a bomb, displayed some wires hanging out from underneath his shirt, said Crafton Police Chief Mark Sumpler. The teller saw a device with wires and a green light on top that appeared to be a trigger button. Later, the suspect was spotted by Township Officer Mike Gastieb on Campbell's Run Road. As the officer went to approach the suspect, he started to drive off, but the officer was able to stop him. They noticed he had cash in the car, and Stein confessed to robbing the bank, but insisted it was not a real bomb.
Oh, because that's the point that matters.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad nobody got hurt. That matters too. But yeah, he just says that right away, right? And they still had to call in the bomb squad because when you say you have a bomb, they can't just take your word for it. And I thought it was funny when I read that the bomb squad they called in was the Allegheny County Bomb Squad. I recognized that from our haunted asylums when I did the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, damn. All these crazy haunted regions in the Midwest. There's always like a bunch of stuff in there that's surprisingly intertwined. So what they found was that it was jerry-rigged to look like a bomb, but it was actually a sex toy and a cell phone. So that's why it came up in the list.
Okay. I'm trying to picture in my head.
I cannot. My imagining skills are not that good. That's why I have a hard time even playing Dungeons and Dragons. My imagination is ruined by television. No. Yeah, it didn't say what kind either, so it just, obviously the cell phone was used for the light, it seemed like to me, because it had the green light. I don't know.
Very confusing.
It is. And I guess there was just probably a lot of duct tape involved, and then people get scared. Yeah.
Cylinder object duct tape cell phone.
Yeah. And then he had like a vest, maybe.
Weird.
But no explosives were found, and the 35-year-old thief told police he had been desperate because he had just lost all his money in the stock market, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How sad for you.
Yeah, go rob a bank about it.
I know. It sucks. We're all broke.
Yeah.
Yes. Honorable mentions of sex toy crimes from this and the previous story about the armed robbery was from a bustle.com article, which was called "Man is Accused of Using a Sex Toy to Rob a Bank and Other Vibrator-Related Crimes." By Leah Rose Emery. I just wanted to shout that out because, yeah, that's where I got like all the rest of these, so I had to give credit where credit is due. Mm-hmm. Here they are summarized by me. 1. Carolee Bildstein used a, quote, clear, rigid, feminine pleasure device to whack a cop repeatedly about the body.
Love it.
That's quite the description, too. I bet it was a real hard one. And he had just been trying to arrest her. So obviously she was up to no good. And from what I looked up, the 56-year-old was being arrested for dining and dashing. Because I was like, what the hell was she, like, running away from?
Yeah, not too bad.
She should know better. Then the next one, number 2, Kara Caffey also assaulted someone with a, quote, battery-operated vibrator, end quote. Her mother. And she hit her so hard that she broke the skin, causing her to bleed from her head. Sorry, Mom.
Jeez.
Right? Calm the fuck down. Claffey, 35, of New Mexico, had assaulted her mother, Cheryl. While she would admit they had been arguing at the time, her story was that her mother did it to herself. Okay.
Whatever you say.
Damn, lady. Yeah, I think they locked her up. They're like, no. Nay, we do not believe this. The next one happened in a Spencer's Gifts, which, as I understand, I guess it's American. Sort of like a joke shop where you can get different, when I looked it up online, cheesy gifts like lava lamps and bumper stickers, that kind of stuff. Shot glasses.
Oh, is it different than the Spencers we have here?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I've been to one. Do we have
they
one?
sell like t-shirts and like stuff for like TV shows, movies, and
Yeah,
then they
yeah,
sell
yeah.
like gay gifts, but then they do sell
Yes.
like sex toys and stuff in the back.
Okay, yes, that is it. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know. The
My
only
mom and I used to go in there. I'd go. My mom would be like, "Where do
Is
you want to
it?
go in the mall?" And we always went to Millennium. And my mom would be like, "You want to go into Spencer's?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Okay. It is in the West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, maybe I have seen it in there. I didn't realize because I've like read it a couple times online where people are like, "Oh my God, Spencer's Gifts," and like
Yeah.
it seemed like it was a given that everyone knew what it was, and I was like, "Huh? Okay."
Yeah, I think here we just call it Spencer's.
Well, we had one novelty gift store, as online put it, and that was in the Fredericton Mall in New Brunswick, but it was just called the It Store.
Oh.
It's now out of business, apparently. I found out. But it's the same sort of deal, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so a Misty Ann Lee, a lady, entered the store with her toddler in tow one day and was going out about her business, shopping, la la la. And as they were leaving the store, the employees happened to notice an odd-shaped object poking out from behind the little child.
Oh no! Don't use your child as a shield.
It was a vibrator. She had stashed it in the stroller. And later she tried to come back for whatever reason, but they kicked her out again.
Wow, love it.
Right? You're like, okay, I'll just come back later. Yeah, no, lady. That's bad. And the next one happened to involve a one Mr. Bradley Cooper.
The Bradley Cooper. I
Not
fucking
of
hope so.
Marvel and movie fame, no.
I would love if it did.
That's why it went viral when this 19-year-old bloke from England tried to steal a vibrating sex toy from a Tesco supermarket. He just happened to have that name. Well, no, but it's true though. I process a lot more names now that I'm in the more processing department, I guess, where I'm doing license plates and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you don't realize how many like Michael Jacksons there are, and like,
Yeah.
literally the other day I sold tickets to a lady named Sharon Stone, or like, and I restrained from saying anything myself, but then the lady, she was like, I might come back in a minute, get something else, and then I heard the lady next to me go a couple minutes later, oh, I got a celebrity, and I thought, oh, yep, Sharon Stone's back.
Yeah. It happens.
Oh yeah, but then we get some fun ones because someone put in the chat that this last name was quite odd, and it was Old Yellow Woman.
Old yellow woman.
Yes, I swear some of them they must probably be indigenous, but they are just bizarre.
My mom, when she worked at the Workers' Compensation Board, she was a supervisor of like filings there, and she had I don't think it was when she was a supervisor, it was when she was doing something else. There was a person there that was on like disability for workers' comp, and he was indigenous, and his last name was Standing in the Road.
Nice.
But
I don't know why I love it so much.
Yeah, it was Standing in the Road. I can't remember what his first name was. She would know. But his claim was because he had been standing in the road and had gotten hit by a vehicle at work.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was, so it's kind of terrible.
That's pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
Or like possibly suspicious.
Yeah. Like that. Well, she said that they had a different one that was like second cousins or first cousins, that there was 2 or 3 of them that were working in a few different departments, that one was submitting fake claims under different names and the other one was approving them and stuff.
Oh, that shit is cray-cray.
I think that was either before or
everything.
after she was working there they caught that one, but Yeah.
Oh,
I
I heard
always
of some
remember-
COVID scammers that had to flee the United States because they like claimed a bunch of shit saying they were from a bunch of different countries, and they like left their children behind.
Oh my god.
They just fled the country. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know much more. Sorry, I should. That's crazy though. People be nutty. Yeah. Speaking of nutty people, the last weird little crime, I guess, is Lisa Anderson, 47, a Watertown, New York resident, was arrested and charged after throwing a pink plastic penis at a cop and hit him in the head.
Love it.
Mine has only fun penis stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
and they're
your
pink
segment...
and plastic.
Yeah,
and not
your segment had a
chewy.
lot of that word. I didn't get to laugh at it because it was so horrible.
Right? I omitted a whole lot about different seasonings and like recipes, and I was like, I
Do
don't
not
need...
ruin Montreal steak spice for me.
No, nothing that technical. But it was like, I don't need to know what you sprinkled on it, thank you.
Yeah, we all watched Hannibal. Okay, so this person was apparently at the home on the complaint of an unwanted person. She likely was the unwanted person in the home at 3 a.m. She then hit Officer Jonathan Pitts in the forehead. And she was charged with a misdemeanor.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Because that was 3 pages, I included several strange-ish sex laws from a Mental Floss article by Tony Donnell.
Okay.
Because you can't stop me at 3 pages.
Yeah, it's not very much.
No, it didn't seem like a lot. Once I got done, I was like, oh, damn. Okay, so these ones are basically from the States, and then I found a very short list also from the from the Canada.
From them Canadians, eh? How about it?
I was listening to somebody today, and well, I was impressed they were telling a Canadian story, and she happened to look up and mention the fact that Ottawa was the capital. I was like, good for you. And, but then I did laugh wholeheartedly when they were like, and then they called 911, or whatever it is in Canada. And then the other one was like, I don't know. XIXII. And I was like, oh my god. I'm dying. It's 911. Okay. But I get it. I think in the UK it's 999. Whatever.
I was just gonna say, what's it in the UK?
Yeah.
I was trying to think. It was 9 something.
The 9s came from like when you actually had rotary phones. I don't think it actually matters anymore if you have 9s.
No.
Anyway. Because it was like quicker to dial. Like the 9 wasn't, you didn't have to go all the way around the circle thing. Does anyone know what rotary phones look like now?
Oh yeah, because was 9 the one that was the first one, like above the spot, or was it the last one? What order do they go in?
Well, you'd have to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you'd have to like go all the way, almost around in a circle to get to the 9.
So the quickest would be like 101. If you couldn't start it with
yeah, that's
weird.
True. To be fair. To be fair.
Oh
god, there's a hair stuck between my boobies. Okay. Weird sex laws. So, number 1, it's illegal to, quote, seduce and debauch an unmarried woman in Michigan.
Really? How else do they become married?
Right. One of
Poor
those
women in
arbitrary... Michigan. Yeah, not enforced, maybe? Well, okay, it's an old law. It's been since 1931. You could get up to 5 years in jail. So it is
stupid.
vague. It is stupid, but also a little bit sinister because apparently the thing I clicked on said it had been used as a loophole to avoid worse punishments. And it referenced a case in 2017 where some guys like used it to kind of get off a sexual assault case. Because, like, if they could plead this charge, they only got 5 years of seducing and debauching rather than, like, rape, is what they should have been charged with, basically. Yeah.
No, they need to get rid of it. It doesn't even make sense.
No. Yeah, that one's not so fun. So, mine's not all... Mine's guns and roses. Mine's not all butterflies. Okay. Number 2, it's technically illegal to flirt in Haddon Township, New Jersey. Sort of.
Sort of.
Well, and again, these are all like, I think most of these I just quoted straight from, basically, so. But yeah, it was that you could be punished for approaching, quote, any person of the opposite sex unknown to such person, and by word, sign, or gesture attempts to speak to or become acquainted with such person against his will.
Oh, so it's really about unwanted flirting or even communication.
Yeah, it is supposed to be more against, like, unwanted advances and stuff.
But, like, it doesn't say, like, unwanted advances. It just says, like, communication. So it's like, just anybody you don't want to talk to you that you don't know you can have arrested is kind of great. I would love that.
I think it's one of those things, it's too much of a gray area that you can't really police it.
I don't know you. I don't want to talk to you. Arrest them.
Yeah, who is there upholding this?
Yeah.
In the next one, in Texas, the possession of more than 6 dildos is prohibited. I mean,
how did they come up with that number? That's what I want to know.
I know, don't you know from personal experience? But, quote, a Texas statute known as the Obscene Device Law declares it a crime to possess 6 or more obscene devices or identical or similar obscene articles.
Wow.
These, oh my god, this is still part of the larger quote, infernal devices include dildos. That was the name of that second Shadowhunter book series.
I was gonna
say,
devices. I was gonna ask if that was one of the Shadowhunters books.
Oh, I did not notice that the first time. Oh my god.
Love it.
It's a good name. I like it. All right, folks. So in Texas, you can legally own more guns and display them in public than you can sex toys, as some dildo-wielding campaigners have pointed out. End quote.
I think I heard about this one.
More guns. Wow.
Yeah, they were...
Yeah.
They were doing some parade or something, and everybody was, like, wielding sex toys and stuff.
Really the better weapon for not killing people.
Throwing them at cops' heads, apparently, repeatedly. But
at least the cop lived, right? It's better than a gun. But yeah, it's wow. Oh man. Okay. The next one was you can't get married in Nebraska if either partner has a sexually transmitted disease. So it's apparently rarely enforced and will hopefully likely be repealed because, like, wow, that's pretty outdated and harsh.
Yeah. I remember hearing that in Mexico or something you have to...
Oh.
Yeah, somewhere in that area you have to get, like, blood tests basically done to check that and then to check, like, that you aren't related or something. It wasn't me,
I feel
it's
like I've
somebody I
heard that
know.
part, yeah.
Somebody I know was like getting married there, was going to, and then they were like telling me
Oh,
about the
yeah.
blood work and stuff that they had to get done while they were there. It's like, what?
It's very popular to have a destination wedding for
Yeah.
Canadians, almost as much as I'm sure it is for Americans, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just always seems much more complicated. I heard a lot about that in travel, where it's like, if you get married here, well, some places you're just fine, and you just have to go to the registries, but other places you have to, like, get married in your own
Yeah.
state or province first, and then go there just to make it more easily legal. You know what I mean? Because, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it had to do with laws. Anyway, boring. Um, so yeah, hopefully they get rid of that one, or they don't enforce it, because that's a bit outdated now. You can definitely live with an STD.
Yeah, there's a lot of treatment that makes it, like,
Yeah.
untransmittable.
Oh, exactly. Then in North Carolina, it's illegal to live with a partner if the couple is unmarried. Dun dun dun.
North Carolina, really?
Shame, shame. No.
For shame!
It's one of 5 states, apparently. Virginia, West Virginia, Michigan, and Mississippi also.
Wow.
Where the living in sin statute, as they call it, for a nickname, still exists. Yeah, that made me laugh a lot, because I was like,
It's a
yeah.
great name for
It
a
is.
legal law. Living in
Oh,
sin.
totally.
Sounds like a movie
Oh, I
title.
would be guilty of that if that was in Alberta. We're not technically married.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, laws. Okay.
You've been living in sin for like 15 years, Alanna.
Oh, my friends are bastards. No. Some of my best friends. I think Pat's one of the only people I know that his parents are still together. It's like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Oh, and yours.
Yeah, my parents are together.
No, it's true. No, your parents seem cute.
They're in their like mid-60s and are almost but not quite like high school sweethearts. They've been together like 40 over 40 years, like 45 years. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, hey?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that could be me and Pat, because I was a young adult when we got together.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta grow together. Yes, you do. Yeah. No, I can't think of your parents as mid-60s, just like I almost can't think of my parents as, it's like, what?
Yeah, my parents
like
do not
people.
seem like they're, like, my dad's retiring next month. Like...
Yeah, I definitely met your dad at least once when we
Yeah.
both still worked at the same office, and he was just, like, so happy-go-lucky, like, dad. I don't know if he told a dad joke, but he just had that kind of jovial personality, just always smiling and stuff. Yeah, he seems really fun.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, I think, is people's outlook. And
totally.
Keep you young at heart, right?
I know, it's whatever. I would used to get mistaked for a little bit older when I was in my teens. Like, I'd be like 13, 14, and they'd be like, you're 16, right? And I'd be like, no, but I have boobs.
Yeah.
And then, like, now, I'm, like, gonna be 35 next year, and, like, I'll come into the, like, liquor store or the weed store and be like, hey, how's it going? Get some of this. And, like, I don't know if what I'm wearing or something else, and they'll be like, can I see your ID? And I, like, show it to them, like, you're just gonna look at the year and be like, 1990 something, and be like, okay.
Right?
You're obviously over 21. You only have to be 18 in Alberta, and I still get carded some places.
I have the exact same problem. When I was a teenager, everybody thought I was, like, in my early 20s.
Oh my
and then
God.
when I hit my, like, mid-20s, when I started at my job when I was 25, I got mistaken for 16 once. And I was like, are you kidding me? I got mistaken for 16 by an 18-year-old. She thought, and then,
Oh.
yeah, not even just like adults, but like people thought it was their age. And I was like, no, I'm like 11 years older than you. Like, no.
Well, did you have your hair kind of like the shorter then? Because I was
No.
like, I don't know. Yeah, there's some Instagram photos where like a couple of years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like I don't know how long ago they are, but then I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She looks a few years younger there. You
Yeah.
know, kind of the more like baby face or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always have to go out of my way to tell my managers. Even recently, I had to tell one of them I was 27, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're a year younger than me," and I was like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Oh my God, I thought you were like 21." And I was like, "No, I'm 27."
Well, and the funny part is, I don't know, I guess every year we get older, you realize that that's not even that much of a difference. So
Yeah,
it's like, yeah.
it's so like
Um,
arbitrary.
oh, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna crack this last one for the, oh, little bit. Okay. Many U.S. states still have laws against adultery and fornication. And I was like, okay, you can try?
I hate the word fornic.
Fornication. Californication. All right.
Yeah, no thanks.
In South Carolina, a false promise of marriage can land you in jail. That's how it is in South Carolina, where, quote, seduction under promise of marriage is a misdemeanor punishable with a fine or imprisonment for up to a year.
Okay.
Who made up that law? Oh,
That
woman?
that sounds like such a specific scenario to have like one law for. He
He's taking the
seduced
time
me
to
and said he
prosecute
was.
these things. Yeah.
He said he was gonna marry me.
It was before they had soap operas, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, number 8, if we're counting on this list, is don't teach anyone about polygamy in Mississippi. And then I put like the Parks and Rec straight to jail. Yes, I love that freaking clip from Parks and Rec where they come to visit Pawnee as the sister city. He's like, "You do this in my country, straight to jail. Driving too fast, straight to jail. Too slow,
I do not
jail."
remember that.
Oh my god, it's like a gift now.
Yeah, I need to
It's
rewatch
Fred
it.
Armisen.
Oh, okay. I love
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. And he's like, and I figure if they're doing some sort of delegation, maybe. Yeah. And then it's like, you do this in my country, you go to jail. No questions. Number 9, don't flaunt your booby pillows in Kern County, California, not near the highway. Because I guess the lawmakers of Kern County, California have a real issue with the public sale of articles depicting female breasts. In particular, they abhor the sale of objects known as booby pillows.
I don't even know what those
According-
are, but all I can picture in my head is those long like shirts that you buy on vacation that make it look like you're wearing a bikini. Do you know the ones?
I think
Just like
well,
shitty travel.
like the printed T-shirts.
Yeah.
It's like the ones that make you look like you're wearing a tuxedo, but not
Yeah.
really. They don't really make you look.
No,
like
it has like
that.
a fake like silhouette of like a lady's body,
Yeah.
and then it'll be like a fake bikini on it. I do not know what these pillows are they're referencing.
I may have tried to Google it and taken one for the team, but I did not get very far Googling
Okay.
booby pillows.
Probably
According to the law. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say probably something to do with weird anime. It's always that like
Oh, yeah. They're supposed to just, like they said, look like boobs in some capacity, but. God. California. It's just like Vegas in ways.
yeah, why can't California be chill? What's going on there?
Why aren't they allowed to sell their booby pillows? Who is it hurting? According to the law, the sale of booby pillows along public highways is a species of indecency and vulgarity which cannot be ignored or controlled by passers-by. Vendors can't sell or even display booby pillows within 1,000 feet of a highway.
Oh.
Doing so could earn them a $500 fine or a 90-day stint in the county jail.
Wow.
Don't even try it. All right, and to top it all off, a few fun ones from the article about Canadian sex laws. The top 10 weirdest sex laws and facts in Canada by
God.
Katie Thorne.
That's
where I got the one about the 1969, the fun fact I started it off with. So they're mostly...
Canada!
What?
Why
Ours are
Canada?
much better.
Ugh.
Mostly. I think. Oh, how did I start the first one? Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? 1 in 5 Canadians said they had taken part in a ménage à trois, and another 29% said they were interested. Awkward. Fun fact for you to bring up at your next family gathering.
No thanks. Hard pass.
Then we have anal sex is legal in Canada, but only between those over 18, provided no more than 2 people are present.
That got way too specific.
Just be sure. I guess we can't have anal pornos. There would be a lot more than the 2 people present.
Yeah,
but I'll have you know. What?
That's so weird. More than 2 people present. Like, I get 18, like, okay.
Yes.
But, like, more than 2
is good.
present.
You may like this next part. The 3 provinces that have struck this down as unconstitutional are
Probably
Ontario,
BC.
Quebec, and Alberta.
BC can't do it? Ooh. We're like...
BC's not into the butt sex? I don't know.
But Alberta is? Alberta's the, like, basically part of the Bible Belt of Canada. I feel like.
Those fucking crazy cowboys.
Yeah. Butt stuff.
Don't we also have, like, a lot of Mormons and stuff, though?
Yes.
I don't...
We have
Wait,
so
what is
many...
that? I don't know. Does that mean anything? I don't know what I'm saying.
I have no idea. I can't comment on butt stuff in Mormons. I can just comment on the fact that there's a lot of Mormons.
Oh my god. I think someone asked me if I was Mormon when they found out my last name was Peters, and I was like, no, I'm not from here, but okay.
No, there's a lot of Mormons.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is where the other one came from. In 1969, then Justice Minister and future Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau famously said, quote, "There's no place for the state in the bedrooms of the nation." End quote.
Yeah, he did. Everybody
I
loved
like
him.
that.
He was like the... What was it? As like my one high school social teacher said, he's like, yeah, like Pierre Trudeau was like the like sexiest like prime minister of Canada. Everybody's like, ooh, look at him.
God.
Yeah. And there was like all this
So-
stuff about like ladies throwing themselves at him and him being like, ooh.
Really?
Yeah. It was like
Okay,
a
but I
big
wonder if
thing.
that's because he fucks as well as like, or when it fucked, as well as like he was good for the actual political climate.
I don't
because,
know. I feel like that's why
like-
people either think like his son, Justin Trudeau, our
Yes.
prime minister right now, either you're like, ooh la la, or you're like, fuck him, he sucks. It was because of his dad.
I teeter because, yeah, I know I hear a lot about his politics and how that sucks. And then, like, you look at him trying to just, kind of posture and look good, and you're like, well, yeah, you're not unattractive, but that's not kind of what your job is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, his dad does seem cool. So the rest of that was about, he said, there's no place for the state in the bedrooms of the nation, which, like, listen up, American Congress. No.
Yeah.
But he created the bill that decriminalized homosexuality and legalized abortion and contraception.
Good.
It's, like, pretty cool. No wonder everybody liked him.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, fun fact, which is completely different than the previous one, nearly 10% of Canadians confess to having had sex in a canoe.
What? Okay.
A senior researcher commented, I don't personally know anyone who's had sex in a canoe, or even how you'd go about that, but I do know canoe usage is quite high in North America.
Yeah, I'm
a senior researcher in what?
Canoe sex. Yeah, I don't know.
Rock the boat.
I don't even think I've ever gotten in a canoe. Like,
when I visited, oh my god, when I visited Mom in 2020, we were on a lake in a cabin, and she took a picture of me when we were canoeing, and so it's just me from the back in a canoe.
Oh,
and I was like,
yeah.
That's a cool pic.
I remember that
Mom.
picture, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been in, like, a little, like, motorboat kind of thing.
Yeah, I like canoes. You're definitely very much, right there with the water, like a little paddle boat or something. You're almost like, any false move and I'm going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were on this lake, and it was some North Lake in New Brunswick, and so I think it must have been right on the border to Maine, because if we went too far down the lake and the river and stuff, then it was like, okay, no, down there's America. We don't want to get down too far and have to canoe all the way back here.
Yeah. Your arms get too tired.
Yeah. You could, like, see American flags. It's so weird that, like, I think they probably tried to, say the border's in the middle of the lake or something. It's like, okay, yeah, tell the fish that. Or whatever. Oh. Borders. Okay. Oh, yeah, we're almost done. So, as of a 2005 Supreme Court ruling, swingers clubs, or clubs that allow group sex and partner swapping, do not harm Canadian society and should not be considered criminal.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, like, let the people do what they fucking want to do.
Exactly. I was like, wait, was that part of a larger sentence? No, it was just that fact. It said, should you be curious which clubs this was specifically in reference to, check out L'Orage in Montreal. Okay. Another fun fact was that the average Canadian spends 37 minutes on foreplay and sex per session. Which, I don't know, overall, I guess sounds about right.
Yeah.
And as of 1991, it is legal for women to be topless in Ontario, after a college student was fined for taking her shirt off on a hot day and challenged the $75 ticket. Nice. Forgot about this one. It was determined that being shirtless is not an inherently sexual act and therefore does not fall under indecent exposure. Hell yeah!
Was it, like, completely, like, no bra, nothing, or just to a bra then if she's topless?
Hard to say, but, like, I do kind of know that we've been conditioned to have women tops for so long, and, like, we've always had to cover up so much that I feel like part of this is, our, like, Puritan background, because then you like
Oh,
see
yeah.
the African tribes and you're like, well, fuck, they can just have their boobs out and they don't give a shit. But yeah, it's so crazy. It's like, how, like, you can't just go around here with no top on. People would still probably say something or do something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They give you, like, a
so-
side-eye look if you aren't wearing a bra with a shirt, and they're like, oh.
Right? Oh, yeah. You're not allowed. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of a weird take on it, because there's sometimes when I'm like, maybe I don't want to see your giant nipples when I'm going to a little science thing with my, like, kid when we went to the Tellus World of Silence, and the, like, hippie lady was wearing the whitest dress, and she just, like, had the giantest areolas. But, like, I don't know, maybe I'm being a prude, right? Like, my kid didn't seem to remember it or care. She just told me that one time she went on, like, saw sex on YouTube, and I was like, well, in my day, you accidentally saw porno on a magazine, so it's nothing different. Like,
Yeah.
you try and police the internet from them, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Does not fall under indecent exposure. Okay. Last two. Sex in public is illegal, despite roughly 49% of Canadians admitting to having done it. But a judge in 1981 ruled in favor of a couple having a late-night tryst in their car, as, quote, it is obvious the accused did not want to be seen. Well, no,
I mean,
they
that's
didn't.
at
They were in their
least-
car.
Yeah, that's at least semi-private.
Leave them the hell alone.
It's not like they're, like, the middle of the road going at it, like...
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, even middle of the field, nobody could probably see you.
Yeah.
And finally, Canadian men have an average of 23 partners in their lifetime, compared with 21 in Spain, 19 in Italy, 17 in France, and 13 in the US. Wow, that's quite a breakdown.
So... Sorry, the first one was Canadian?
23 partners per
On
Canadian
average.
man, I guess.
Yeah. I mean...
Apparently they fuck.
Yeah.
And Canadian women say they have 10 partners, also more than their counterparts in those countries, according to this article. I know, interesting. Yeah, I've noticed, I've heard ones online that are like, of all the world, Swedish girls, or like their culture, they're more likely to be open about sex. And I was like, I haven't found that to be true. And I had a friend who lives in Sweden and was living in Canada here and was like, no, we're just not prudes about talking about it, kind of thing. And I was like, yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's different.
Yeah. That's totally different.
It is, but it's interesting because, like, it does feel like you'll talk to people from different countries, Europe, Africa, Asia, whatever, and some countries are just like, what the hell? You're like, you guys are afraid to talk about that, or you can't talk about sex. I don't know, it's different. It's so weird how it's treated so differently across different cultures. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, though, that get treated so differently.
Oh, for sure. And also, I'm just like, hell yeah, go Canadian men, I guess.
Yeah.
You
Men
little
and
man
women.
whores. Yeah. Also, I recently heard that, well, it's this actress. I was listening to a podcast and they brought up, she was Stifler's mom in American Pie. That's probably what everyone would know her from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's...
For me, it's a Cinderella story with Hilary Duff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where she was,
God.
like, the stepmother of, like, the quote-unquote ugly stepsisters. For
Jennifer
Hilary Duff to be...
Coolidge. Yes,
Yeah.
that's her name.
I like
Okay.
her. She's funny.
I like her too, but I also
And-
picture her from...
Legally Blonde.
What?
Legally Blonde.
Oh, okay. See, I was gonna say, there's an Adam Sandler movie. She's in, Click, and she's in the
Yes.
first, and she's friends with, Kate Beckinsale, his wife's character, who, by the way, Pat has such a crush on Kate Beckinsale. That's his movie star girlfriend. Um, but, yeah, she's like, oh, nobody likes me. I have such Slavic cheekbones, or whatever. And she's also in Gravity Falls as Lazy Susan, by the way, which is hilarious. But, shit, yes. Oh, yeah, they said that she had got so many propositions and stuff after being in American Pie as Stifler's mom that she had, like, been with over, like, 200 guys or something.
Yeah.
They were kind of like, ooh, get it, girl.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, yeah, okay. You do you, right? I'm
I mean,
sure
why
there's
not?
guy stars that have done all sorts of the same kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Oh. Anywho, that was Kinky Crimes.
Yeah.
We better shut her off here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long episode once this gets edited. It'll be like another 2 hours. I can't remember the last time we had like an hour and a half long episode. It's been a while.
Eh, yeah. I thought the last one was going to be long, though. It was only 2 hours, which wasn't that. It's not that bad. But we'll see you next time for 70s strangeness.
Yes. So, yeah, all the weird. I have to figure out what I'm covering, and then you can check out our Patreon for the month. August is going to be Axe Crimes.
Yes. That is coming up next for our Patreon update.
Mm-hmm.
It is coming. It will join all the rest of the good stuff that you can find on patreon.com/castles and cryptids.
Yes.
And don't forget to ring that bell. No, just kidding. But you can like and
Review.
You can, well, and you can rate on Good Pods and Spotify, which 50% of you listen to us on.
Yes.
So 5 stars would be greatly appreciated. It really helps us grow, and we'll catch you next time.
Yes. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Keep it cryptic.
This has been Castles and Cryptids. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and our YouTube channel. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit. On our website, you can listen to all of our episodes as well as view pictures for each of our segments. Check out our Patreon page to view all of our tiers and become a Patreon supporter today to unlock monthly bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes content. We are working on an Ask Us Anything. You can submit questions by social media or by email at castlesandcryptids@gmail.com. Do you have a spooky ghost story, a creepy cryptid sighting, or a thrilling true crime tale you would like to share and have us include in a future episode? Send us your listener story by social media or by email. Please include the name that you would like mentioned. Our music is by Kobe Fair. Our logo and artwork is by Antonio Garcia. Thanks for listening.